Mhm. Mhm. Oh, good evening, everyone. Chaos, are you there by chance? I have something to show you. Oh, hello, Marwan. Okay, so meanwhile, I'll do the stream in English, but if you want to ask question in French, feel free to do so. What I want to do for this bus is first to have a two monster bus and with a shared health system. So the way we can maybe do that it is um, when one of them take damage, it deals damage to the other, and this might work. We'll test it right away. So when they spawn, they have an initialization phase. Oh, no problem, Chaos. So I refactored the move node system for today, and as you can see now, it's a bit split between different nodes. You have move effects, and you have three different type of move. We'll use them later, but uh, there is a teleport node, which is pretty simple. It works as it used to be with a destination. You have move to destination. That was also the old system. You set up a speed and a destination, and it will go until it reaches the destination. But now you also have move distance, which is something I think a lot of players needed. It works the same, but you can set a distance to travel in a direction and towards the destination, but it will stop after it reaches the distance. On the old move node, even if it had a distance field, you couldn't do that because the distance field was to move the destination by an offset from the target, from well, you set up another entity as the destination, and you could offset the destination by a distance, and that's what it was for, which explains why it didn't work at all. So now you have those three options for the movement part, but you can still offset your destination using new targets node, like in position selection. You have two of them. We'll start by the most simple, random point in area. This used to be a checkbox on the move. Now you can set up a different node that does the same, and it works by, for example, targeting an area. So you create a okay. So you set up the point as you want, and then you link it like this, and it works. And if you link it to something that is not an AoE, it simply takes the position of the target. Your other option is position selection. It's used to target a position relative to an entity. For example, let's use oh, that's annoying. Use self. So now your destination will be, if you leave it like that, it will be the position of self. But you can check follow pivot first, which in this case is not very useful since you can target self directly. But if you uncheck it, this will keep the position of self even if self moves. So you can use that to sort of memorize the position of something and go thereafter. You can also add the offset distance, which allows you, like the old move node, to say, for example, you want 12 meters in a random direction, and this will change the destination so that your move is affected. You can also, of course, change them. So if you have a self is an AOE and you want to first take a random point and then offset it, you can do that. You can also use condition nodes in there. You can link them any way you would link any other node. And this should make move effects more controllable and more intuitive. Also, I worked at your I look at your boss and I think um, what creates problem most of the time is that you use group target way too many time because for example you set up a spell that targets all the players. Oop. And then you create an AoE in the spell which also targets other player. Yeah, so what this does is it creates an AoE per player because the spell is launched 4 times, so you have 16 AoEs, and that's what caused issues. The other thing I noticed is for the bump effect, where it was affecting only the host. That's because you set something like 0.05 and the move effect is behind. So your move was very quick, and I think you put this short time so that you weren't moved too far, which is what I told you to do. Now you can do that with a move distance. The problem with that was that since the AoE disappeared very quickly, it worked well for the host, but for the other players, the time that the AoE took to be created for the other player to receive this information and to set up the collision with the AoE, this time was already passed, so the AoE disappeared before it could register the collision because of the network delay. So this method isn't working, except, well, no, it just isn't working. What you can do is set up a longer time and move distance, and this will work really well. Up. So that's it for the new move nodes. We also have a new visual effect. Maybe you didn't use that, but before the link effects were a bit awkward to use because you use the visual effect node, but with something with a link, and the link was between the target and the caster. Now you have another visual effect. You can use your link effect, but set up manually as the origin and the end of the link. So you don't have any problem of switching the caster if you want a link between two of the targets, something like that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to have a lot of nodes. I didn't really count them all, but guess maybe 50. I I have to find another way to display them, I think, because it's starting to get huge, and it's easy to get out of the screen. Where I can make a better context menu system also. And we keep adding them as soon as you have a need creating your bus. Feel free to notify me, and we can add node very easily. Okay, so let's get back to our bus. I want them to share the else. So we'll use damage condition node, untick. Minimum amount is let's say 1, so it doesn't triggers. Took damage from players. And if that happens, I want to damage the entity that has the other buff, which is this one, assign warden. So let's do that. So we'll start by oh well, I don't even have to check the buff. I can just take sentry. And what is tricky is in this small editor, I'll use oh, event value. Well, I have to to find how it used to work. I think I can use the damage condition here, but maybe the event was here. Oh yes, that's right. Because the event, I only have to set it up once, and it should work. So I'm not ticking. I'm just creating the event. So damage from players. Entity would be self, I think. And the effect is damage with the event value. And if I'm correct, this should transfer the damage. Let's try that. Yeah, you're right. Such input field would be a great idea. So, as you saw, I'm also using the new map, which is an early version of the visuals. So it will change very quickly, but the dimensions are correct, I think. It won't change too much. Yeah, kind of a soul link. So if I deal damage to Warden, perfect. It worked really well. It doesn't work in the other way yet, but I'll set that up right away. So what I can do is I remove that, and I'll copy. Oops, and I'll copy this node. So if you copy a node, perfect chaos. If you copy a node with editors below, if you paste it in the same entity, it will create a link to the same editor. So if I move this node there and I go back to the other one, so now this still move because it's linked to the same editor. But if you paste it on another entity, like I just did, it's a different editor, and you can do what you want with it. But mind the fact that if you fix one side, you have to fix the other manually. So it's basically the same buff. I won't even change the name. Let's call them both live sharing. The only difference there will be that it will deal damage to the warden. Perfect. So now the life is shared. Okay, so my first mechanic will be um, to make that one of the players have to kite the sentry. Can reduce the amount of damage when attack. Oh yeah, oh yeah, you can do that. You can. Mm, you can use something like that. Well, what I think is healing one by half the amount and dealing half the amount to the other, but you'll have the effect of taking damage then healing. Another solution would be to have like a 50% resist and then transfer damage. You can do that several ways. Okay, so what I want to add as a spell is that the sentry will follow one of the player with the max threat and follow him while creating areas on his feet. And what is tricky is that monsters have to finish a spell to start another. So if you want to launch a spell when you're close to the player, it won't do anything else while it doesn't reach a player. So I'll have to set up something to create AoEs continuously and then follow the player continuously. I want it to be very slow, so you just have to make sure you keep the threat and to manipulate his behavior to set up the AoEs in the right place, like in the border of the arena, so the other players have the center to fight. Okay, so it will be the phase 1 after the initialization. And what I want to do first is to set up the AoE system. So there are a lot of ways to do that. Perhaps I'll make the most light way I can think of, which is set up a parallel node and make sure it's done just once, then add a parallel node. And this will allow us to create a loop that doesn't disturb the rest of the fight. And the loop will be creating an AOE. We'll make a small circle. Okay, so I have to fix that too, because I'm not sure everything will be placed correctly. But this one will be simple. We just made 10 meters circle. Let's make it red. Oh, maybe I can use a fire effect. Okay, perfect. The shape is created. Now we just have to add a collision. No, it's not it. Then casting collision. Every second, collide with players. And I want it to deal a lot of damage. Let's say 3000, because the goal is to kite him without ever being touched. Okay. Target. Target. This collision. Ah. Well, as you can see, I have a target and new target. And this for one target I have to refactor because they follow an old way of doing stuff. New targets are better, and I'll change them soon. But for now, we can use this one so the player takes damage. And I also add an additional effect later. The target for the AoE will be self. Okay, so I'm creating that. Now I'll simply wait for 5 seconds and get back there. And this will create an AoE every 5 seconds. I also set up a timer so we are not overwhelmed too quickly. Let's try 30 seconds. And that's our first spell. Now we have to make him follow the player. And for that we'll use a get at range node. Where is it? Casting maybe? Yeah. Get at range of max aggro. Let's say 5. So this one I'm not looping because if it reaches a player, it will just finish the spell, start again there. But since I have only one charge, it will keep following the player. 5 maybe is too much. Let's say 2. Let's check what it looks like. I don't know why, but on this map, player is invisible, but only your own player. In multiplayer, the other one are fine, but And the map does this because it doesn't happen on any other map. Oh, very strange. Maybe I moved underground level bit uh, um, bit more than on the other maps. Okay. Ah, nice. So the AOE ground is not. Well, okay. Maybe the it's a bit too wide of an AOE, but I think the timings are fine. Except you will never have time to that this one disappears. Okay, yeah, it's a bit too short. Let's reduce the timer. Oh, it was almost good enough. And if I make the area a bit smaller as well, it will be perfect. Let's try that again. Okay. I think I leave it like that for now. It might be fun. So I don't know if I can really make him put the AoE closer to one another. I don't think so. Not without taking heavy damage. So well, I try to leave it like that and just let's say 15 seconds. I think it will be okay. Yeah, 20 should be fine, but maybe we can leave some room for the player to make mistakes. But yeah, exactly. First one spawn at 0. So you have to stay far away. So you'd have to take a distance build. It's not very easy to kite. Uh, maybe I can add a preview for the. Let's try like that. We'll see how we change it later. Also, I have now that this is linked, my other ideas will be a bit harder to try out if I'm alone. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is for the warden to cast periodically a beam that will be needed to break the sentry's shield. So let's say that's another spell. I'll make a loop too. Creating loop is kind of a way to Elena Lock. With loop, you kind of can tune the timings of the spell a bit more precisely because you can't have delay because the boss was kited a little. But maybe that's not very intuitive. We can think of a way to offer this option in a more simple way. For now, let's use another parallel. So what I'd like to do is shielding the sentry will make it invincible periodically. Yeah, let's use a buff because this way I can say reset. This way I can add a description to help the players. I'll find better names later. So let's add a shield. Okay, these are the shields. Yes, so invincibility buff. On self, and that is, oops, no, that is reverted when the buff is dispelled. Okay. Now we add a weight system. Let's say every 30 seconds. Whoop. We link it back. And I want the duration. But I want it to still be there, so reset should work. If the player doesn't dispel it like it should. Okay, and let's add a nice shield VFX. Shield invincible. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. So every 30 seconds. And now let's add the corresponding spell to the warden. Oh, by the way, you'll see why very soon, but I'll change this to anybody. Yeah, you don't have to recreate the node. Anybody. So warden phase 1. We'll add a spell with an initial timer for, let's say, 3 seconds. Oh, maybe 2 seconds. And then 30-second cooldown. And this will target, this will cast a spell. Yeah, let's add maybe an animation. So cast node. Um, mm, wow, we have something more aggressive. Let's use the auto attack. Okay. So we'll use a custom cast time of 5 seconds. And I remove the timer. So if I do that, since the 30 seconds cooldown is starts when I'm starting the cast, it's the spell is still launched every 30 seconds, but with a 5-second delay on the effect. So this should work. Wrong order there. And I'll target the tank. So what will happen is a cleavery toward the player. So if I remember correctly, okay. I'll make quad. Let's say 0.2. So 2 and 325. Okay. Yeah, this should work. Let's make it in blue. Does it looks good if I use this one? We'll see. Okay. So AoE, we'll make a short timer. Just look, I just check how it looks. Okay, the VFX doesn't work really well. Okay, we'll make it more simple. Wind area. Okay, so the area is created on the player, which I don't want. I want it to be created on the caster. So I want like it to be visible. How does this look? I'll disable my spell for now. Ah, perfect. Let's just add a preview. Okay. Maybe it would be easier if they didn't have the same name. Okay, so the preview. I don't think it will work. I think the beam will be casted on my initial position. I will try to fix that, but let's check it out before preview. This preview. Yeah, the preview is not following me, so that's no good. I need the warden to keep looking at me. And how will I do that? Um, mm, mm, mm. I'll try something. We'll create parallel loop with get at range like oops, no. So if you set a get at range node and the entity is already at range, it's just looks at the target. That's a way to to rotate an entity. Target will be spell target. Maybe I can link that directly. So there you are, this loop, which I want to revert after the EOE is created. Maybe I also have to check the can move. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can do that. I'm used to take a huge range, but it works. Okay. Oh yeah, it's following me, but under the ground. No, that's just the map that isn't set up properly. So that's what I wanted. It's scary. He's invincible, so now I want the shield breaker beam to break the shield. So we'll add a collision. Very simple. But we want it to collide with the sentry and to dispel the shield. No. Yeah. This one is the right one. Target will be anti-collision. And I also wanted to dispel first, then deal damage. I'd like to see if it works. Like 2000 damage. See if it works. Yeah, very good. And it took the damage, so it correctly registers the end of the invincibility before dealing the damage, which is very good. And also, the warden took some damage, but I don't think the loop was reverted. Uh, so that's problematic. I really don't know why. Maybe I can check. Oh, yeah. Maybe I have to specify the target. So, oops. So it works properly. Maybe the invincibility is a bit too much as well. But the point is, you have to one of the players has to carry the sentry around the map, and the main tank has to follow him closer and make sure to be properly aligned when the beam is launched, so that the player can DPS the sentry. What I want to do also is create a resistance buff on the warden, so you urge to DPS the sentry instead, because it's less resistant. And after a while, we can switch roles. I don't know what I'll make for now. But yeah, your main DPS way will be this beam combo. Also, I don't really like that we have 5 seconds of invincibility the time that the beam is casted. Maybe I can work around that. What I want to do is, if you miss a beam, it gets a shield back. Maybe it's a matter of timings. Maybe if I just make the invincibility every 35 seconds, it will work. Because it still have to be triggered before the beam, not right after. But a cleaner way will be to check properly if we missed a beam or not. Ah, merci Exam. Comme tu vois, on peut faire plein de trucs avec l'éditeur et on peut déjà recréer à peu près tous les boss. Well, I'll think of something for the next time. So I have my AV system. I have the combo. Oh yes. So we'll add the armor buff there. Still on self. Still a buff. Infinite one. And I'd like it to add resistance. So 50% should be good. And from the players. Oh. I wanted to avoid applying the resistance to the beam collision, since yeah, I don't think I have any way to do so. So it will be halved as well. It's Okay. Wait, no, it will be too weird. Because any damage the warden takes will be shared in half. So they won't be shared, they won't have shared else anymore. Hmm. I would like to only take players into account. I'll try something. Um, I'll try something, which is in the sentry initialization. We'll add a spell damage boost. And this will add a damage boost. So it's always in percents. So 100% boost toward the warden. So the mass should check out. Let's see if they're still. I'll disable the shield to test that. Up, check it out. Okay, no, not sure at all. But yes, the armor up. So yeah, this does 26, 52. Yeah. Oh. uh, yeah, I want to check. So 59. Yeah, it did twice the damage. Huh. Uh, don't tell me the resistance is not working. Strange. Why would it be? Okay, 50%. We saw that it worked with my spell. Um, if I disable that. Okay. Okay, another equal. Okay, so it looks like the resistance node doesn't work where the damage comes from an ally. Huh. Okay. That shouldn't be. But also we see that it would be useful to to add a resistance toward a certain entity, and not only spells. Okay, so I have everything I want. Next is yeah, okay, as intended, exactly. Next is I want the main tank not to be able um, to kite the sentry. So the way we'll do that is well, let's first add an auto attack. Max aggro. Let's add a small cast. Some damage. And also a debuff. Up. His debuff is visible. Maybe we'll add a duration so you can eventually switch tanks. But it will remain after this. We might add a small VFX. Oh, I'll show you one of the new one. Player link, which is a shade. Up, and the buff is just a buff. Okay, but now now this spell will kill instantly if you have this buff. I wonder if this works. So if you have the buff, you're destroyed, and if not, you just take damage. So now main tank has to make sure not to step in the AoEs, but still has to rotate the boss correctly to break the shield. If we look at what it does, it should be impossible on my own. Yeah. Yes, I am killed instantly. That's perfect. Okay, I'll make a last spell quickly. Let's remove that. So the last spell will be a very simple one. It's just an attack from the boss that will push the players towards a few meters toward the border. And we'll use the new move nodes to do so. Okay, so let's say 8-second cooldown. Push. So we'll have a cast. Let's use disintegration. Oh, gasification, rather. And what I wanted to do is move the instance. Let's say 5 meters. Speed will be like I really don't know, 16. And the destination will be will be position. Okay, no, I have to set -5. Maybe I don't need that. Let's try targeting the players. And so the destination would be the boss himself, but since the distance travel is negative, maybe it will make me go back. Okay, let's see how it works. I remove that. I'll just leave this spell. Okay, let's go. If this works, it's a really easy way to make a push effect. Okay. Not really what I expected. If I'm further away. Huh. What? Maybe it doesn't work with a negative distance. Let's try if I'm sucked to the boss, if I make it like that. So yeah, now it's pull. Yeah, this one works. So I think the node checks if you traveled at least the specified distance before stopping the effect. But since the distance was negative, it was immediately completed. So I'll check it out and take this case into account. Yeah, you're right. The whole system had the same issue. It's okay. There is another way to do so. will use the move to destination node. So 16 was really slow. Let's put 30. So targets are player, and the destination will use the new position selection. Um, yeah, I put the player at the beginning, so now I can just use the spell target. Because if I had left a group player here, it might have selected a player randomly as the pivot and do something very strange. Okay, so the destination is the position of the target, but with an offset of -5 towards the caster. Let's try that. Oh no, it's not working. Uh-huh. It's not working. Yeah, negatives are cursed. But it would be so convenient. Let's try again. If I put 5, what does it do? No. Okay, so this one is not working. So I think that -5 is not the problem. I'm moving target towards. Let's try something like this. 10 meters in a random direction. Okay, so this is not even this is not working. I think maybe the nav mesh of the map is not set up properly. Well, no, wait, no, because the other move effect wouldn't work either. Target. Okay. Let's maybe try something like that. Okay. Well, Clearly, there are some bugs. I'll check it out and fully fix it by the next time. It's really strange though because all the previous movement spell from the other bosses are working well with the new system. So I don't really understand. Well, I'll keep you updated on this matter, and we'll recreate this spell when everything is working. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in. I played on the beta version of the game because new nodes are not yet on the official version, but for for some reason we had to disable all the Muzzle levels on this beta version, so you can't play them in hunt mode. But if you want to download this version to play with the editor and the new map, it will be enough. Yeah, no problem. We'll probably do the same kind of stuff next week. We'll continue this boss and I'll show you all the fixes I did. I'll try to fix them as soon as possible. I also have another issue where I can't drag and drop to move around the map anymore. But it should be okay for the next time. Okay, perfect. So thanks for tuning. Thanks for your comments, and see you next week for the next spells of the boss. Have a good night.